well, this is my buddy Sven, and in this video we're going to go over how you can stop your dog from barking at sounds outside of your apartment or your house. Now, Sven gets very worked up if he hears the sound of the mail door opening. There's a little, right here, a little thing where the mail comes down, and basically the dog goes over and destroys the mail and gets all worked up when he hears that sound because he's like, the mailman's not authorized to be here. So what we're going to be doing is something called counter conditioning and desensitization. And this is a very common technique that we use to stop dog behavior issues. Now, when I'm doing this, I can set Sven up for success. We haven't done it today, but if you're going to do this, you might want to exercise him first. Take him out for a sniff walk, and then when you come back, give him 10 minutes of rest. After exercise, always give your dog about 10 minutes of rest before you do the next thing, otherwise they'll be worse behaved. Now, we have one of Sven's guardians on the other side of the door, and he's going to be activating the mail slot. And what I'm going to do is, after we're going to make the mail slot sound in such a small amount that he hopefully does not go for it. And if he doesn't, then I'm going to give him a reward. If he does it, then I'm going to have to move a little bit further away or find a way of making the sound a little bit less intense. Now, you see, he really likes the treats, and so we're going to go ahead and try it off here. So I'm going to hold the treat right to his lips. I'm going to say, okay, and that's our trigger for him to do that. Okay? There we go. So it was very subtle. I could hear it, but he didn't respond. All right, okay, let's do it a little bit louder each time. Okay? So he got one treat, and then he started going there. So I'm going to have a second treat here. Let's do it a little bit less intensity that last time. You hear a little anxiety. You see his tail's wagging. He's a little bit more worked up. So we might just wait for a second. I could also do, hey, I don't want a reward for a bark, so I can kind of go like that. Let's get him thinking about something else. Sit. Yes. Here. Get ready, Nate. We're about ready for the next one, and we're going to do it a little bit less than what we did the last time. And I'm going to hold two treats, so I try to keep him here. All right, go ahead. I didn't hear that one, so let's do it again. There we go. So he heard it. You saw him turn and look, but he didn't react. We're going to do the same level of intensity. That was really good dexterity. All right, let's do that one again. Yeah, see, here's grumbling a little bit. So let's go ahead and we'll do that again. So what we're trying to do is make that sound an indication I'm about to get a treat. When we're doing this exercise, the most important thing is that sound is not so intense that he reacts. So this is, I think this is number 4. So let's go ahead and do it again. I know. Now I have a handful of treats here so I can keep his attention. Now he's getting a little bit rough on my fingers, so he's a little excited. All right, let's go ahead and do it again. A little, the same level of intensity. That was great. That was a good sound, and you didn't respond. Do it again, the same level of intensity. I know. Now, when I do these, I usually like to sit on the same level of intensity about 3 times to begin with. That's kind of my baseline. It's not a hard and fast number. Sometimes I need to do it 6 times. But I try not to go a little bit more each time because sometimes that works it up too fast, too quickly. Let's do the same level of intensity again. Now, grumble, I'll accept. I don't want the barking and stopping and running over there. All right, so that's number 5. And you're a little bit worked up, so let's go ahead and get a little bit of a reset. Sit, down, yes. Come here. Let's try to do that again. All right, we're going to just a tiny little bit more than what we did before, okay? That was very good, Sven. All right, that's number 6. Let's go ahead and do it again at the same level. You're getting sloppy. All right, one more time. That was a lot more, and that was great. All right, let's do one more, same level intensity. And again. I know. And this is not the most exciting footage. We talked about the dog whisperer off camera. His footage was very exciting. Again. But he uses aversive and punishment-based methods that I don't like using because they suppress the behavior as opposed to what we're trying to do is change the emotional response. So now the sound of this happening means I get a treat. Let's go ahead and do it again. Now, I like to keep score to track my progress. That was number 8, I believe. I was not doing a great job of counting. Now you see he's grumbling, but he's not going over there launching himself and chewing things up. Now, that's residual because he's used to when he hears that sound. He's like, you son of a gun, I know you're out there. So when we're doing this, I like to keep score. So that was 8 positive interactions. The grumbles I would really not count, but he did have a bark. So that was 8-1. When you're doing this, I like to get to the point where it's maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, however many it is, to 0. So now we're repping this and helping him see that that sound doesn't mean that it's always the mailman or that something bad is happening. Now, you see now he's going over and he's sniffing the counter. There's a bunch of treats over there, which is good. He is disengaged from this. He's not thinking, boogeyman, I'm on patrol now. So what we'll do is I'm going to give him a little bit of a break, which is what we're doing here. And then I'm going to grab one more of these and break this into little pieces. It's a heart, but that's too big for you. It's LA. We got to watch our figure. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and break this up. And while I'm breaking this up, we're going to have our man Nate outside. He's getting ready. He's going to go and do another one. That was great. And a little bit less intensity this time. Very good. No grumbles this time. All right, let's do it again. And a little bit louder. You're doing good. We're going to go a little bit louder again. Ready when you are. This is getting hard to break up. I need more fingernail. All right, again, a little bit louder. And a little bit louder again. That was a really good one. Let's do that lid lift and the same drop that you just did. No barks. So what we're doing is we're counter conditioning and simultaneously desensitizing. The treat at his lips keeps him like, I really want that treat, so he's not over here. And he's grumbling, but he's more looking for the treats and not so on guard. Now, when you're doing this is something you should probably do in short sessions. This has been, I don't know, what's our timestamp?
7.
7 minutes. So I explained a little bit, so it's probably been about 4 or 5 minutes. I would maybe do a minute of this, and then toss some treats or give him some belly rubs for about a minute or 2. Come back and do another minute again. So maybe we do about 3 or 4 total minutes of actually this activity over the course of about 10 minutes with some nice breaks in between. When we get done, we like to give him a little bit of a massage, pet him all the places he likes, and then maybe do something he likes doing. Play fetch, take him out for a walk or whatever it is. So at the end of the activity, it's a good thing. It's kind of like the cherry on top. Now, this is one thing that my colleague Lydia always points out is that dog training is not a linear process. It's not a bell curve. It's not always going to get better. It's going to be more like an EKG. You're going to have good days and bad days. One last little tip. Keep track of what's going on outside. If there's construction, the street we're on is really a busy street. If it's a lot of traffic or there's people arguing, all those other things are going to make him a little bit more angst. So what we're doing, we would like to practice at beginning in the easiest version possible. Once he's good at it, then we can start doing other elements and playing with, there's a baby outside crying, or there's a skateboard, or whatever the other triggers are that he might be responsive for. Now, we were just doing it within mail slot, but we can do it with other things as well. We mentioned that when the trash truck comes, he doesn't like that. Well, we could do it with the trash truck. The problem with the trash truck is we can't control how long or when it starts and stops like we were here. I was talking to my man Nate and letting him know how to do it. So what I could do is I could go out with my phone when the trash comes and record the audio. And then and then I can play inside on a boom or an external speaker, and I get to control the volume and the length and duration of the sound. And so this is what I do for fireworks a lot. So again, you're holding a treat here or just keeping it here, play the sound at a low level, then give him a treat. And then gradually you ramp that up, but you have to go at his pace. So again, the goal is that he does not react at all. And eventually you get to the point where it's the real world truck goes on and you have, what time the trucks people come by to collect the trash, and you've got a treats here. They're doing it. Now, if that's going to take a little bit longer, it's going to take, this is a 1 second deal. So I might basically just give him treat while it's going on. I can also, with the recording, I can play it on a loop while he's eating his food. That kind of accomplishes the same thing, and it takes away the fidelity because we're not doing it outside, we're doing it in the house and away from the door. So that makes it easier. So if your dog grumbles or has difficulty with it, ask yourself, how can I make it easier? How can I decrease the volume? How can I increase the distance? Or how can I slow down the speed depending on what the medium of it, whatever it is. And if you do this after a while, then he's will stop barking when he hears the sound of the mail. And as a matter of fact, he's like, somebody around here owes me a treat. Now, he does shred the mail. So the other thing that we might do is we might, once we've desensitized him to the sounds, he no longer reacts to that sound, I'd maybe open that thing. I would probably put a little bit of a something in the little space so it kind of almost like shoots the treat out here. And I would just have somebody over there drop a treat and the treat roll out here. So now when he hears the sound of the gate, it doesn't mean that mail's coming. It means somebody's going to get me up with some really amazing treats, dude. So again, we're making it a positive emotional response or a neutral emotional response. All right, let's sign off. Come here, buddy. Well, this is my buddy Sven, and these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that likes to bark at sounds outside your house.